All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who teach well. Much peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, you brothers and you sisters, wholeheartedly waiting upon the Lord Yahweh to send his only begotten son Yahushai to deliver us from this captivity. To you I say Shalom. This is going to be a lunchtime video, and it's going to be entitled AI is Taking Over the Jobs. And I was doing some Uber earlier today, and one of the passengers, he was a computer science major, and I was just chopping it up with him. And one of the things that he told me was, that AI is, is taking over that field, because we were going into how, people go to college, they get degrees, and then they don't get to use those degrees. They don't find a job within that career, right? So it's even more worse now with AI, because you got people who are trying to go into computer science and things like that, and it is a lot of that market in that field is being it was, first of all, this oversaturated, and now it is being completely taken over by AI. You see? So I'm going to start here. Daniel 12:4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. And that goes into the technology that this man has, right? Esau Edom has very, very more powerful AI than what we use, ChatGPT and Gronk and things like that. However, on a low level, these AI platforms do have a lot of knowledge and a lot of information, and they can pop up within seconds. You see, one thing that he mentioned was that the coding, that they do a lot of coding in computer science, and he said that ChatGPT can code something up in a matter of minutes versus actual live human, which would take AI a couple minutes, would take an actual human days, sometimes weeks, depending on what type of formula, what type of coding is being used for that purpose. So knowledge has been increased. This man's technology has reached to different heights. The world hasn't seen this type of technology ever. There was times where left-hand magic was on the scene. You think of the time of Egypt with Moses and Janus and Jambres. They would use left-hand magic to ultimately try to replicate the miracles that Moses was doing on the right hand. You see, and then at one point, the left-hand magic could not contend with the right hand, and they had to admit, like, this is the finger of God. You see, so right now we are in a world of technology. You see, these phones it's nothing but the left-hand side. You look at the series Black Mirror, right? Black Mirror goes back to these devices, right? When you turn this device off, it's literally just a black mirror. It has a reflection, you see yourself or whatever. When you turn it on, you power it on, it display the different information, different things like that, the apps, the web pages, right? You're surfing the web, right? You're channeling, right? You watch a different channel, right? YouTube channels, right? So this is all it goes back to the left-hand side when you think of it. Now, that doesn't mean bug out, oh man, I can't use a phone, right? We have to use cellular devices in a society. You have to use computers. You have to do these things. The Lord set it up this way. However, this technology has made Esau proud, because he thinks, he has become this great power through his miracles and through his technology, right? That's why Let's go here to let's see. Yeah. Isaiah 47:12. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be thou shalt be able to profit, if so thou mayest prevail. So that's why the Lord says, stand now with thine enchantments, right? Esau, he has his priest, he has his different left hand wizards, etc. You know, and they're trying to communicate with Satan, and Satan gives them misinformation. Their time is coming, man. So ultimately, they're gonna stand with their enchantments. They this AI really is getting out of control. When you look at the different pictures, the different AI made videos and things like that, it's really starting to get more and more advanced. And it's starting to become less obvious what is AI and what's not. There's some videos where you can kind of tell, and there's other videos where you're like, whoa, this is crazy. So this is the power of AI. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, the Lord is going to destroy all this stuff, man. Let's go to Isaiah 19 and verse 15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. You see? So what's going to happen? Ultimately, people are going to lose a lot of their jobs to AI, man. Apostle Tahar was going into this in their last camp lesson. This is what's going to usher in that UBI, universal basic income, right? Because they're not going to need regular grunts in the fields anymore. They're going to have machinery, they're going to have robots, they're going to have all these different technological advances to do basic necessities for labor and things like that. So what does that mean? That means that men and women will be obsolete in a way. You see? You may think of different shows or games like Cyberpunk, Total Recall, things like that, where life will start to be integrated with machine. Let's see here. Let's grab Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. And those days are vastly approaching. You're going to have a lot of people, like I said, losing those jobs, and they're going to be out there on the streets, right? They thought they were just, I got my life situated, I'm making so much money. AI takes their jobs, they end up losing their income. Their income starts to dwindle. They can't keep their house, their car, etc. And next thing you know, they're on the streets. And that's going to be a day where they're not going to have pleasure in. A lot of these people haven't lived the struggle, man. A lot of people have not lived the struggle, right? Jacob has been living the struggle from the beginning of this captivity, from the very beginning of this captivity, struggling, robbing Peter to pay Paul, as they say. So those who have not endured struggle, that's why the scriptures talk about, let's grab that. This is Slovakia. Bear with me 1 second. This is Sirach. No, that's not it. Having a hard time finding this. Give me 1 second. There it is. Okay. This is Sirach 11:25. In the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction. Right? I don't know why I had adversity. It says, in the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction. You see? So when you're prospering, you you going about your day. You know, you go to your favorite restaurants, you go to your, Whole Foods and your different Sam's Clubs and your what is the other one? Your big supermarkets and things like that. You purchase all your foods and things like that. You always got gas in your full tank of gas. You know what I'm saying? Your gym membership, you paying $200 a month for your gym membership. You go to the nice fancy gym, right? In the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction. And in the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity. So all of these people who have not felt affliction, have not felt adversity, have not been poor, so to speak, or broke, so to speak, all of that extra stuff and lively living and pleasure that they were experiencing is going to go straight out the window. Right? They're not going to remember that because they're only going to be able to focus on what's happening now, what's happening to them at that moment. So these people who have these nice jobs, computer science jobs. Oh, that was the one thing the dude told me. I said, so, what are you going to do? He said that the AI is starting to take over all these jobs. He said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might just take all my income and my money and move to Mexico. He was an Indian dude, He said, I might just take all my money and income and just move to Mexico, right? He didn't say, I'm going to go back to India or, whatever. So that's the mindset of these people. The scriptures say that they will, let's read that. Because when America is destroyed, man, hey, it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful time. Let's go back to Isaiah. Let's see here. Believe is Isaiah. So I'm just, this is all through the Spirit, so I'm just kind of thinking of scriptures and let's see. Isaiah 13. All right. It's Isaiah 13. And verse 13. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of Yahweh of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. That's talking about the destruction by the missiles, by the chariots, etc. Right? The scriptures say that the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. Verse 14, and it shall be as the chaste roe, right? And as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone to his own land. So ultimately, hey, people, you're gonna have some people that jump ship early. Oh shit, this is not looking good. I'm getting up out of here. And you got some people who will ultimately die here in America. But you're gonna have a lot of people that's gonna jump ship because they see that Babylon the Great is not that same cash cow that it was in previous time. So AI is taking over these jobs, and AI really was released fairly recent, like within the last 15 years or so. It just now really became more evident and more prevalent to the public. But Esau he's been had AI, man. They show you that in the movies. Jarvis, right? The Avengers, different little movies or whatever. They'll show you that there's an artificial intelligence that is in control of different establishments. And say, man, so Esau's been telling you what the deal is. So now we're coming into a time where we're witnessing these prophecies happen. Like I say, the scriptures say that there shall no work be done in Egypt. That when you go back to that Ecclesiastes, talks about that the windows be darkened and things like that, right? These businesses closing up, you see? So we're witnessing it, and it's all just a matter of time. The Lord said that he was going to destroy this place gradually anyway, little by little, so that the different beasts of the earth don't multiply against us. The Lord is slowly and strategically crumbling this place, and in order for Esau to feel like he's going to continue to rule, continue to have that power over the earth, he has to implement the MOTB to try and get that complete control and power over the people. So I'm in it there. I pray this was edifying and faith boosting. I want to give all praises again to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, B'Shem Chakadash, Shalom.